it came out. Look at that, it's a turbo, guys. I had to remove the intake or whatever in order to get this heat shield. I don't even know if it'll come off. But see, that's why it won't come off now. It literally has. It might just come off. See, here's the problem that I need to remove this in order to get to those lines. And it's a little difficult because of this heat shield, but I think I might be able to get it out. Actually, see, now that I see, I can just remove this line, whatever that is. There's a little bit of blue there. I guess water leaked for a little bit, whatever that is. I was able to finally, after a lot of wiggle room and a lot of play, I was able to finally get this thing out of there. This was a nuisance. This was preventing me from being able to even get access to those fuel lines over there. Now we'll be able to advance little by little, but before we do any of that, I'm gonna put this boot back in its place because I don't want any contaminants going inside into that turbo. And now that we have it out, we can get an idea of what's going on. You know, how dirty it is. Again, this is my first turbocharged vehicle, my first project car in general, and there's some oil in there. If you'll be able to, I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but there is some oil residue in there. So I don't know what that means. It looks like it's a little bit of sludge. I mean, that's, I don't know. Yeah, there's some oil going there. Maybe the oil return line or something. Something isn't right, but you know, it has some oil. If it'll focus. I mean, it's still you know, the viscosity is still there, but it, you know, there's still some oil. And inside of there, you can see the oil. So I don't know what that means, but here's the intake tube. Maybe the oil return line? I don't know. I'm just guessing. Winter's coming. As you know, it is 55 degrees right now. We're gonna finally actually try to change the oil filter and do a whole bunch of work to this MR2. Have a whole bunch of work. We still got to drop the fuel tank, but before we do that, we got to go turn on the Little Red, because Little Red has been sitting out there for quite a bit. I haven't driven it since that last video. It has the new windshield and everything, but I got to turn it on. I got to watch out to see if it does have a heating problem. But I also got to show you the brand new rear windshield that we installed, because this thing looks a lot better with that rear windshield. Here is the rear windshield that we installed with the fresh dookie stain. It has been more than a week. I think it's about a week and a half now, honestly, with this thing installed. And it looks so much better with it installed. Before, it looked absolutely horrendous, but it looks better now. We can finally take off the tape. It's been more than a week. Obviously, you should wait for about 24 hours for the thing to cure or whatever. To be safe, I just left it as is, and yeah, that lets you know it's been sitting there way too longer than it has, but we're gonna turn it on. It has been sitting for a while. Let's get this cold start going. Let's see how it goes. That was a lot of smoke. I think it'll be all right. I knock on wood, I think it'll be just fine. You know, the funny thing, out of all of the 3, 4, 5 tripods that I have, I decided to use a chair and a stick to prop up my phone. So we have a little water problem in here. Condensation is coming in from somewhere. Either condensation or water is coming from somewhere. I have no idea. There's water even accumulating underneath this thing, the sun visor. I even saw some drops accumulating under here because of condensation. We even drilled holes in the trunk because there was water. Obviously, some of these Hondas and most Hondas, after age, obviously the seal goes bad and water goes inside of the trunk. Again, I have not cleaned this thing. This thing is absolutely filthy. But again, we drilled some holes so if water does accumulate, it'll have proper drainage. Somewhere around there. There's one right there, one there, and somewhere right there. You can't see it. I don't know. Clogged? Clogged? Yeah, it was clogged. But anyway, yeah, there's water coming in here from the trunk area. I'm gonna have to seal somewhere around there, but that's one of the problems. My latch thing's broken, so I gotta literally pull it from the cable there. Chris Fix has an excellent video where if you buy this little nozzle, it's pretty much like a funnel that extends off of your radiator cap. Again, you've probably seen the video where it tests to see if you have any bubbles coming out because of the exhaust. Mixing with the coolant lets you know that you have a head gasket problem. This may not be equivalent to the test that he does. We have to let this engine idle for at least 15 minutes so that way it's running at temperature or operating temperature, so that way we can tell if there's really a problem going on or not. As you will see, the bubbles, there you go. The bubbles end up relieving itself. That's the exhaust bubbles coming out of it. So it is a head gasket issue that it have. This is why it's important that you check your vehicle's oil and coolant at least once a week. At least once a week. So that way you can tell if you're having a problem or not, because some of these aren't gonna leak oil and they aren't gonna leak any coolant. It'll be dry. But that doesn't mean it's not consuming anything. Yes, I could finally take out the oil filter. That was a challenge, guys. Oh my, I had to remove this lining in here from the intercooler, from the turbo to the intercooler, so I can get a better grip or whatever, you know. But whatever I did, it helped. I was able to get the old filter. Now we can put in the new filter. But look at that. Look how well that looks. And I think this filter might be a lot taller than my other one. So here's a size comparison of the new filter and the old oil filter. As you can see, this one ends in F2 and this ends in F1. They're virtually the same, except for this one is a little bit taller. Now, performance-wise, will it make a difference? I don't know. I wouldn't mind having this one, but this will work just fine. It's still OEM Toyota. You know, it's still the same. But, you know, here's the difference between these two oil filters. But, man, this was just so hard to get out of there. Now, you can see this is where that's where the oil filter goes. As you can see, you don't have a lot of room. And I just realized that it's better to have that tall one, but I couldn't find a tall one. So, taking that shorter one is going to be a pain. I'm going to need to buy, definitely going to need to buy an oil filter ratchet in order to, you know, put it on top of the head or whatever and be able to twist it, because that's going to be a pain to take out again. But yeah, hopefully I can find a long one so I can avoid that, but we'll have to see. Funny enough, I found my 10mm right down here somewhere, so I'm happy that I found this, because, you know, 10s are always getting lost. You have no idea how many 10mm I've lost in this MR2 already, so I'm very happy that I was able to find that.